observing is something where I felt like I would actually push the whole craft forwards. I could give people something that they would enjoy.
Party's just getting started here, and the next one up going to be Anvorgesa versus NIP, and we got a beautiful, beautiful panel here to talk about everything that's going to be going down. We got Kyle and we got Blitz, and guys, before we jump into it, I know you were casting. We haven't really heard your opinion on that first series. What do you guys think of everything that Sirius was able to do, and Alliance coming out on top?
Well, it was fun watching with Loda, that's for sure, especially during that, was the first game? The second game. And he's just literally pulling out what little hair he has left as Boxy dives the fountain. And I'm just laughing because we have very different ideas on Dota, but we are driven insane by the same sort of place. And I'm glad Alliance was able to pull that one out, because if they had lost, I thought they were losing for sure.
What made you think that they were losing for sure?
Because it's what they always do. I was just like, oh god, they did it again. Like, they've got this game won. Instead of killing the racks, they're diving the fountain. What's going on? But this is a good sign. It's great, especially with eHome eliminated. Alliance need one more win, and they're going to the major with a shot to qualify for TI.
Exactly. That is something that you got to keep in mind. These teams are so close to actually knowing whether or not they're going to be going to the major. 2 teams make it, so you get to the grand final, and there you go. You've punched your ticket already. Serious. Now, Blitz, last time you were on the panel with me, you said that this was the team that had played the cleanest Dota so far in the tournament. Now that they're going up against some of the, let's say, maybe higher tier teams, do you think that that's not the case?
I mean, I think what actually hurts them is their hero pool and just the way that they draft. Like the Razor pick last game, we thought it was going to be really good, and then we were reminded that that hero just isn't very good right now. Like,
but it was ASD playing it too, right?
No, it was Sylar. And
that's such a waste.
Yeah, I think so too.
Either player, really.
It's like when you put Sylar on a DP or a Razor, I just feel like he's not really playing to his strengths with those kinds of heroes. Like, you want him on a guy that just goes in, farms everything, then he can fight. Yeah. I think Razor, he just felt handicapped. Like, he was the one that called the GG. He's like, I'm done with this shit. Like, I'm out.
It's about options, right? And certain heroes, like, if they're not able to dominate a lane and then, like, take over the map in the game, like, what do you do? That's why I like watching them on heroes like Lycan, like Naga, that have these abilities that you can impact the map in different ways. It's not totally like, oh, I guess I'll win my lane. Like, anyone can play Razor. There's no real difference between someone who's excellent at the hero and passable. The same way heroes like Lycan, illusion-based cores, even his Weaver, like, these things can get aggressive. What's up?
Let's start to look ahead now to what is going to happen in our next series. But keep in mind, both of the teams that you just heard the panel talking about, they will still be in the tournament. It's a double elimination bracket. We have not hit the first elimination series of the day. 3 teams will make it to tomorrow before we figure out the top 2 that will be going to the major. Now, Anvorgesa, they've made a lot of people believe. I've seen people spamming burgers in chats, giving a lot of energy to the squad. The question is, can they do it against NIP? Can they keep the upsets coming?
Hell yes, they can.
Blitz, do you feel the same way?
Blitz
no.
is laughing.
I don't think so.
Blitz has laughed at just about. I know that not everybody at home can see it because the camera is currently not on us, but Blitz has laughed about just about everything Kyle said so far.
Yeah, no, in a good way though. Like, I enjoyed it. I like when Kyle goes off like that. Well, it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to root for the underdog here. Yeah. And I know it's not going to be Will. He's a front runner. He was rooting for the Warriors for like the last 5 years. It drives me crazy.
What's that?
Basketball?
What? Yeah, he pretty much just roots for the team most favored to win.
That's not true at all. That's a Kyle thing. That's your bread and butter.
What, dude, I
was laughing because I was making up jokes in my head when Rich was talking. That was all.
Oh. What did you come up with?
When you said like they're spamming hamburgers, I was going to say that's just because they saw Kyle's belly, but...
That's actually kind of mean.
I know, that's why I didn't say it, but I said it in my head and I laughed.
That's a pretty sexually threatening
I know what I'm... well, I guess this is just my life, huh? So I come on this panel because Rich is wearing a funny rose jacket. You just fucking team Rich.
Hey, really quick, speaking of teams, we want to know which team you think is actually going to win this series before we jump into the draft. So you can vote right now in the chat for Anvorgesa, the underdogs in this one, or NIP, a team that already has a pretty solid year under their belt. Big belly that they have, a belly filled with victory, just like Kyle's belly is filled with burgers.
We're trying to give you a hint right now. This is what friends do, but we're trying to make it subtle in the form of jokes.
Yeah. There we
Well, guys, I'm just so. This is gonna be a great series.
Yeah.
So to the Dota.
Do you think it will go to the distance? Do you think we'll have the maximum amount of panels?
No,
to
I'm not
all
really
chat
into
together?
running. Actually, I think people that do cardio are, well, they've got more willpower than I do apparently.
Blitz, who do you think wins this one before? Because Twitch chat already needs to vote. I feel like you guys should be put on the spot as well before we see the draft.
I personally think that NIP will win because I think that they're probably still the best team here. I thought maybe eHome had like some sort of outside chance, but clearly not. Alliance is starting to pick up, but I think that NIP is just straight up the best team here. So Anvorgesa, they're coming on at the right time, but I'm still not sure. I feel like they've sort of played their peak, but who knows? Like maybe they give them a
And
meepo or two.
it's tough too because you're not really sure. It's like a collection of tier 2 teams, right? You don't know. So Sirius like absolutely wiped the floor with Mineski and Complexity. I thought that was because Sirius was great, but it could just be that those teams were bad or underperforming. But I think
Ninjas
that
in
this minor,
Pyjamas.
no matter, I would favor NIP too. Let's be honest. I just think that they could lose, but we're probably gonna have 2 European teams in the upper bracket final. There's already 3 at the major, and it's just evidence of how shafted this region has been the entire year. I think if Alliance is in any other region, they're already qualified for TI.
So let's say that Anvorgesa was going to win this series. Throughout pretty much the entire tournament, everything that the panelists, the analysts have said is we want to see aggression coming out from these guys.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Kyle, that's their best path to victory?
Yeah, I think they need the Wraith King, and they need to have some. It's when you watch teams like NIP and Secret Draft, they often have a super high power level to the entire lineup, but it's reached in a lot of complex ways. You know, like with Liquid, same way they abuse map movement, and they get to a point where you can't really play against them effectively. Anvorgesa, they don't have that depth, but if they pick this mag strat as an example, maybe some sort of global like Warlock Spectre, you know, something easy to operate, they are talented enough to win games.
Every time I see that logo for this team, I really do start to believe it is just so cute. Just like all of you guys in chat. Now we're going to be looking at some very reliable statistics provided by SAP, our analytical partner here. Anything that you really see as far as the hero pool is concerned, Blitz?
Not really. I mean, obviously the Tiny and the Oracle jump out at you, as does the Monkey King, but I mean, it's really been the Tiny that they actually win a lot of games with. But it's overall, like if you look at the overall lineups, it's very aggressive lineups that can fight, that always give themselves a win condition. I really like when they pick heroes like Wraith King, for example, because it's a hero that consistently you can just run at people with.
Yeah.
And that's what's been their strength so far in this tournament.
You can also feed twice. It's much harder to feed twice versus once. So it's just the best core to play around in that regard because you have a built-in Aegis to take fights once he's willing to get involved.
NIP, Blitz said one of the best teams here, if not the best team here. Kyle, I don't even believe they were your prediction to potentially take the whole thing. Of course, that was yesterday before we had full information. I think you and my mom actually agreed that it was going to be serious. Do you think that NIP is actually the team that could take the entire thing, and why?
I think they're the most complete team. I think Peter's in my top 3, like tradition. I can't say the word, but I think he puts his players in positions to succeed and plays to the strengths of the lineup he's got. I don't believe that if you look at like his cores, I don't think you're going to put them in the top 3 in the world. Yet they're able to consistently compete with teams that are, and I think it's a product of how the lineups are formulated and put together.
So you talk about these lineups and what they actually do look like. Let's go into detail. Let's actually describe them. Let's start talking about the play style, Kyle, of what NIP actually does bring.
Well, it's interesting. They're kind of chameleons in that they will put their... I really like the ability to have options. It goes back to what we were talking about before. You're not going to see them in a draft where they are outclassed in some regard. They can always take fights. They always have a frontliner. They have some sort of catch. They have natural tower push, objective taking, a Roche carrier. They itemize well. They do all the little things right, and I think it covers a lot of the weaknesses that perhaps the individual players have.
Okay, now moving into the draft with all of that in mind, we've gotten a decent idea of what to expect from Anvorgesa and NIP. NIP with a fantastic year so far, trying to just pick up more and more momentum. What was that, Kyle?
What? I'm just hanging out. I'm just waiting for Blitz to help me out with my analysis here, not just make fun of my
What?
fitness level.
I wasn't. You were answering questions, and I agreed with your points.
10
Really?
seconds
Why don't you
remaining.
let the community know that?
Blitz is a really good guy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let you. I'm just gonna
5
let you say
seconds
what you need to say. I don't want to interrupt you. We're gonna have a nice, casual panel. I'm sorry that I said what I said on air. We could have done that backstage.
But it needed to be done.
Backstage, you're just poking me with the stick, saying ha 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 ha. That's not cool either.
Hey,
That does.
I'm gonna take it. We're gonna take a step back here as the first. You know what? Let's just talk about the draft.
But
Shout
the
out.
draft hasn't even started yet.
Shout out to Fog.
What?
What's happening? I miss casting. Those are the good old days. You just hang out, talk about the
Yeah,
game.
you know, there are less people, so you never have to shut up. You just keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I miss my days of casting. Now I just sit back, say
5
hello, ask
seconds
some questions.
You got fired from that job, didn't you?
Few times.
Really?
Few times. Yeah, I've been fired more than I've been hired.
Well, that put you in some very special company.
Yeah, seriously, guys. Please like my Instagram posts. I'm really thinking that's the future for me.
You do have a high quality Instagram, I will say. A lot
Rich
of
needs
people
this,
very
guys.
low effort, but I believe you were talking about how your self-esteem is tied into the number of likes you receive.
Hey, you stick to what works, and that's why we're going to see Anvorgesa using Warlock here. We've seen just so much of this hero throughout the entirety of the tournament. The meta starting to solidify just a little bit, and we can start talking about those bonds just a little bit, Kyle.
Makes sense, I believe. It's an easy way to
10
just solve your
seconds
damage
remaining.
issues. You now have a Roche
You
fighter.
take Abba here?
For sure. I think Nip
5 seconds
go
remaining.
Abaddon +1. I think Lesh is an option.
Radiant team pick.
Darkseer? You don't go Darkseer Abaddon, though, do you? Maybe they go for like a Nyx or something and pick up a partner right away.
You really do love your Lash. Who do you want to see picking up Lash?
NIP.
Okay.
They were picking Abba first two every game the other
Yeah,
day.
they were. It's a great Warlock counter, too, because you just remove the bonds, no problem. You can walk forwards.
I mean, you could still technically do it, and then you could pick your
10
Darkseer combo later.
seconds remaining.
That's a good point. It just... I don't know if I like
5
Darkseer and
seconds
Abaddon. They're
remaining.
both weak. Like, heroes like OD, Dumpster, both heroes.
Yeah. What about?
Very
Dire
limited
team
catch.
pick.
Nyx. Yeah, I like that. It's just a great combination.
It was Nahaz who said it, Blitz. He kept saying Nyx is almost like you're almost getting a bunch of bans along with locking in this hero. He thinks it is that good. He put it in his
Yep.
top 7 heroes, I believe it was.
Wow, top 7.
Yeah.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I actually remember because my
10
notes are
seconds
fantastic, even though you
remaining.
make fun of them. He said Warlock, TA, Sand King,
5
Darkseer,
seconds
Sven.
remaining.
I can't. Batrider
Wow.
and Nyx are his top 7 heroes.
Not bad, and we already see 5 of those heroes. Wait, Warlock 6 actually. The only one not witnessed in the draft in the bans or picks thus far is Bat, and that's part of what the Nyx solves for you because you just don't want to play Bat into Nyx.
Hey, it's really easy to be deciding what the best heroes are when you're using the best analytics provided by
Dire
SAP
team
throughout the entire tournament. Our analytical partner, Grimstroke.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping for. I'm not sure if it'll work out, but it's double fatal bond potential. We saw OG use this at the last major, or at Birmingham.
They use this twice now.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd time that they're going to use the Grimstroke Warlock
Yep,
combo.
I like it. I think that between this and their mag
Radiant
strat,
team
this is their
back.
best shot at winning games at Dota because if you get to a point where you soul bind to get a double fatal bonds off on 3-4 heroes, like you're winning that fight. And it doesn't matter what NIP do.
I think what's really helped Anvorgesa in this tournament is what a principle that they realize is similar to what Alliance did in the previous game, which is you always want to have a way to win a fight.
Yeah.
10
And I think
seconds
that's
remaining.
actually what's helped them out the most. It's not just being able to take fights on top. It's you always have a
5
way,
seconds
regardless of what
remaining.
time you are in the game, you have a way to win the fight.
Yep,
I
I'd
think
agree.
that's probably one of the most important principles in Dota, especially if you feel like you're a little bit outmatched.
Especially in this meta where if you're on a clock, it just feels like you're inevitably going to lose because you need to play perfectly to win. You have to continuously keep the lead, maintain the advantage while also pressing it and increasing it. And we've seen a lot in this event where one bad fight and then the team with no late game is just they're done for. They've got no method of engaging any longer, and it's GG.
What did they ban? AM?
Yeah.
Okay. So they also think that AM is the counter to Darkseer. Maybe they take Storm for themselves, or something like that. I think the most interesting thing about NIP though as a team is the way that they use Fada in 33. It's similar to how
5 seconds
they'll
remaining.
use or they used to use Matumba Man and Miracle, where they were interchangeable in like the type of roles that they would
Radiant
play.
team back.
Because Fada's best quality is that he can also play like that offlaner style,
Yeah.
where he'll play like the bats mid. He'll just
I
he'll
think
play this like initiator for you.
it's reminiscent of when EG had Fear and Sumel in the offlane,
Yeah.
where Fear was effectively playing offlane from mid.
Yeah, fantastic job he did at that as well. Now, looking here at what everybody has
10
early on in this
seconds
draft,
remaining.
let's try to figure out what these teams are going to be looking for. Kyle, is there
5
anything
seconds
that,
remaining.
still very early, but anything that jumps off the page that you're really concerned for either of these teams grabbing?
I still think that NIP is going to be looking for an Abaddon at some point. Surprised that Anvorgesa banned Ember Spectre. It's you don't want to play against them. The problem is those were two heroes that would have been very nice
Radiant
for them to
team
play.
pick.
But since NIP have the first pick out of this phase, it's going to be difficult. Ban out the Lifestealer. I think Alesh, Storm, Lena perhaps is the direction you're going to go here if you're NIP.
Storm's sick.
Yeah, I love Storm. You already see Anvorgesa 2 supports, limited lockdown, very squishy, comfortable in the back lines only. If you can get a reach advantage, get vision with the
10
Nyx and
seconds
capitalize,
remaining.
like it's a really great combo. I love having high reach cores with Invis heroes
5 seconds
because you
remaining.
immediately out of nowhere have 2 on top of a guy. He's dead, and then you can chase for more.
Yeah, I know you know a lot about that, but I do want to ask with Lifestealer. Lifestealer, I feel like he keeps coming up. Chen's also another hero that would be interesting to talk about. But what do you think of Lifestealer right now, Blitz, and why is it starting to get targeted a lot?
It's just a safe hero. It pairs with a lot of different combos. We saw how tanky it can be. It's very durable. You have to play a very certain playstyle around you.
How about the Chen? Has it moved up on your rankings at all?
It's kind of stayed the same. I know that Synderen isn't the biggest fan of it, and he thinks it's a pretty mediocre hero now, but I think it still has its place in its game.
I like it when you have the opening for NIP. You have tons of wave clear, you have map control already. You've
You have
got
good team fight.
lockdown, yeah. And it's that same concept
10
where
seconds
because you have this
remaining.
Invis hero always off map, Chen represents another hero that he
5
can summon
seconds
forwards.
remaining.
So you can capitalize on the vision advantage you're gonna have because lanes are gonna be pushed thanks to Darkseer. Why are you grinning, Rich? What is it?
No, I was just going to say that Nahaz's opinion on Chen has changed a lot throughout this tournament. He said it was absolutely awful at the beginning. Now he's actually saying that it's quite good. He actually changed his opinion more than you even do.
That's it? That's all you got?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that one either. The same way that Blitz wasn't going to tell his joke, but you keep putting us on the spot. Now it's going to be NIP who's going to be putting Anvorgesa on the spot with this pick and Lena.
Yeah.
Counter pick to the SF mid. Definitely a winnable matchup, but it's again just this combo where Nyx finds a hero or Chen rotates. It's super easy to find kills. Everyone on Anvorgesa right now is a bit
10
squishy.
seconds
TA's already
remaining
banned. What is that, a CK?
CK.
Yeah.
They love this hero.
They do.
They pick it quite a bit for K1. It's either this or the Wraith King.
I've always loved this combination. You have limited spread damage as CK and SF really, but the Fatal Bonds help compensate for your lack of AoE, and you just demolish Lena, Chen, Nate, like all of these heroes on NIP will get destroyed by a
10
3-item
seconds
CK.
remaining.
You level 20 talent as well, where you get the Reality Rift, Pierce,
5
the Spell Immune.
seconds
Even
remaining.
if you buy a BKB on Fada, it's not going to matter.
K1 loves the 150 GPM though.
Yeah, I guess.
Everybody loves the 150 GPM as a core.
I also just like the natural synergy with SF because you have this minus armor, and
Yeah.
CK doesn't provide it anymore with the Reality
Does
Rift.
that guy have
but
a Rubik tattoo?
yeah.
Dang.
It's a pretty cool tattoo.
That is-
Dire team ban.
All right, look in here. We also got a pretty cool draft. What do you want to see in these last picks for both these teams, Blitz?
I think for NIP, you need. I mean, Sven would have been like the perfect pick, but I still think that they need some way to like get behind
Yeah.
enemy lines. Like you need to be able to get on top of the Grimstroke and the Warlock. a lot of these games come down to like how
10
easily can you get to
seconds
the
remaining.
supports. And Anvorgesa's lineup, I think, is pretty easy to get to the back line.
5
Whereas for
seconds
NIP right
remaining.
now,
I think, what do you think about a LC for Anvorgesa?
an LC,
I just think having a cleanse would be amazing, and especially when you have a built-in attack speed steroid. I've always just loved Warlock LC together,
Yeah.
because you have the team fight and the individual lockdown, 2 methods of heal, and it's great synergy when you have these super high damage cores like SFCK.
I mean, what have we seen Whisper play? We've seen him play
Does everything.
Brewmaster. We've seen him play, so far though, we've seen him play Brew and a lot of Darkseer.
It's not. You're not picking Mag, that's for sure. Beastmaster's banned.
Team pick.
I feel like it's got to be. I don't like Tide very much. It's a possibility, but I think you already have enough team fight. I'm looking for something that could be more of a space maker and pressure the lanes. I think it's very important.
What about
when
Brew?
you're playing against Chen to have 3 self-sufficient cores in the laning phase? Brood, I'm not a fan.
Or
of
Brew.
Brew is just
Oh,
banned.
Brew's banned, okay.
They banned the Wraith
10
King.
seconds remaining.
I know, and I just think it's one of those heroes that simplifies the
seconds
Anvorgesa
remaining.
lineup, right? You know what your job is as every core. Axe, okay. Same concept. Strong laner, applies pressure, and you needed some stun, simply put.
For NIP, what are you thinking right now? People that abuse the Surge as well, you could do Troll.
I was thinking Troll. You definitely want a melee core.
I don't think Troll really cares about when the Axe calls him.
10
No,
seconds
he doesn't care about the
remaining.
CK too much either. And you can just get right on top of the Shadow
5
Fiend. There's
seconds
no...
remaining.
The only... I like the Axe thinking about it because this is going to be a BKB core for NIP. Now you at least have an answer to that pick.
He had Naga selected.
Yeah. Naga's good for sure, and it gives NIP this timing where like the longer the game goes, the
I think they
better.
need a really greedy late game core, so it sort of makes sense because
Yeah.
the rest of their heroes don't scale
You may
as
now
hard.
select your heroes.
So you want the ultimate late game core. Plus they have that combo of the sleep vac into
Yeah.
multiple target stuns.
Thing is, if this game's even at 15-20 minutes, I don't know how NIP take team fights.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's cool. They're gonna have Naga can dispel the fatal bonds at some point. Darkseer will be able to with the Greaves, but I'm concerned for NIP's lineup that if they don't get a tower advantage, if they don't crush the Shadow Fiend, this is gonna be a Midas CK. And if we get to a point where like CK's top net worth, and it's an even game of 20 minutes, you're just gonna get rolled if Anvorgesa are able to find the fights. It's gonna take a big performance from Ace, I think, to just prolong this game, get to the 40-minute mark. Then you can take the W.
So do they need to come out swinging then? Do they need to be ahead by the 20-minute mark, or is it just trying to stabilize until that late game? Gonna put that on Blitz.
Oh, on me? Okay. I think that Anvorgesa, like, I actually really like their draft, and I think if they are gonna win, it's with a draft like this
Yep.
versus a draft that looks like NIP's. I think that NIP though is probably the superior team, and I think they will be able to create space for Ace.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an easy game for Sox. So he's just going to get Ion Shells the next run on the map. I think that the support play from NIP will win them this game because the Anvorgesa duo just doesn't have much to offer outside of team fights, and I think NIP is just too talented moving around the map.
Speaking of easy, it's easy for our analytical partner in SAP to craft the best numbers in the business. We're going to be taking a look at them after we jump into this game. Whoever does lose this series, well, they're going to be playing against Sirius facing elimination, so the stakes are already very high.
Easy stats and, if I may say so, an easy host as we head into our second series of the day. Ninjas and Pyjamas have drafted themselves the better late game with Naga Siren, but have a 4-man aggressive lineup outside of that. Synderin, you seemed a little questionable on the Anvorgesa's last pick of Axe.
Yeah, I wasn't completely sure how much I like the Axe, but before I talk about that, can I just preface this game with saying that we may be witnessing a world-first event right now? I think Kyle might actually be right. So I just want to say that before the game starts, so that's out of the way. Yeah, so you have witnessed history, guys, if you're here in chat.
This is why you watch the minors.
Yeah, you're there. It's going to be the talk of the town, I'm sure. It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of Axe in general, but especially when you don't even know what you're picking him into. They didn't know the carry matchup yet. It ends up being a Naga Siren, which I think is a good lane for Axe if he manages to get that matchup, so at least that's nice. There were other options available, but still, the logic behind it is pretty sound. It's just he didn't know his matchup. He can jump in, start the fight for his team. They have insane follow-up with Grimstroke Warlock. He sets up nicely for Raze combos for the Shadow Fiend. And he tanks, which is really useful for Chaos Knight. If somebody else can be a bit of a distraction and Chaos Knight can get to fight freely for just a couple of seconds, you know heads are going to roll. So I don't know. If anything, I'm a bit more confused about what NIP are aiming for here. It feels like a lineup with Chen just thrown in there. Like,
yes.
What is he? I'm not a fan of Chen, and Blitz has made that very clear in the panel, and I stand by that. I'm not too big a fan of Chen currently.
You haven't been swayed like Alan has?
I'm a way bigger believer in Chen when I see the natural synergy in using the creeps to push towers. I'm just worried that NIP's lineup will not really be able to use the Chen creeps to their fullest potential. And obviously with the change of the creeps having the damage instead of Divine Favor, if your creeps aren't particularly useful, this hero is more or less a big heal, which is nice. It's a good heal. It heals a lot, and that can be nice against this massive AoE combo, but I have to see it. I have to see this Chen performance that's going to blow me away here from Peter.
I kind of agree. I feel like if you had one more playmaker to work with, because you're trying to play this like 4 protect 1 style where you're trying to fight with this 4-man and draw out the game for a Naga Siren. But what about the pull-in ability of the Chen? Pulling in, say, a hero that's usually pretty static in the Darkseer, right? He chills out in his lane, but you're still able to bring him in for these team fights due to the Chen. Does that change your mind at all?
It's not the classic hero you want to bring with Divine Favor, right?
Yeah.
With the old Divine Favor, you wanted to pull heroes that can execute ganks and turn it into tower pushes, but you don't have tower push. So even if you find a couple of kills here and there, I need to see these creeps take buildings. If you pull the Darkseer across the map, it's nice. It can set you up for a fight, but you would be doing that into a team that has better team fight than you. And Darkseer doesn't set up an obvious quick kill, right? He kills over time. He doesn't burst. So if anything, the hero you probably pull would be the Lina to combine with Nyx on a side lane for quick kills.
Yeah, so you join the Darkseer lane, pull in Lina when you can. The illusion set up, trying to deny at least one of the bounty runes here, but both will be grabbed by Anvorgesa. We are going to start off with 33 and Saksa doing the classic double ion shell, cut the first wave, kill all of it before it even reaches the tier 1 tower.
Interesting laning here from Anvorgesa. They're starting aggro trialing with Axe against what's currently a Chen Naga, and leaving their Chaos Knight completely alone against Nyx Darkseer, which he's okay for a little bit, but he can get dove.
Surely Warlock's going to TP top,
okay,
right?
He's going to get help.
Yeah.
All right. They're going to run at him with these shells and be annoying.
Yeah, and he definitely needs that healing word nice and easy, and that's why Stinger shows up in this lane. You know, going back to your Axe, I've actually seen a lot of Axe lately in Pub Cinder, and what's that all about?
Well, I haven't.
Well, so I'm playing in your region right now, so you have to explain your European ways.
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan of the hero. I think Axe is super fun and interesting to play. It's just, I like picking it when I know a matchup, right? I don't think the hero is strong enough now that you pick it blindly and it's just going to own by cutting waves. If it doesn't specifically counter anything with Berserker's Call and maybe a Blade Mail build-up, I don't think the hero is as good as a lot of other picks, perhaps. But yeah, I guess it's a result of other offlaners getting nerfed over time, right? Axe has been slowly getting better, relatively, and eventually you reach a point where he gets more interesting.
Nyx gets pulled in, be able to get the stun onto Jericho here, who throws down a ward to be able to block that hard camp. Doesn't actually get anything, can't really stop the Axe too easily either.
Fata's doing a great job against Chris Luck in mid right now.
Yeah,
10 and 2 to 3 and 0. Yeah.
Does manage to get the Inkswell, trying to go for the kill onto Saksa. Brings him a bit low, but he gets back to the tier 1 tower. Jericho similarly has to play careful against Peter Pandam. They're going to block out the neutral camps to make sure that Whisper can't get the extra bit of farm from cutting the creep wave. Meanwhile, Naga Siren, as you said, you didn't know the matchup. Naga Siren's really good against Axe. He can tank the creep wave because he's high armor, and later on when he gets initiated on Axe, both the spin and any blade mail return damage, that's all physical. So his armor again comes into play.
And it's a good counter engage too. If Axe blinks calls someone else, you can Song of the Siren to save the ally and set up for a counterplay. That could absolutely become a big deal if Axe starts finding openings on Lina later on. It's a good save, and obviously We'll set them up nicely to maybe counterplay with a Nyx stun into Lina stun. We'll see if that happens later. But for now, well, Whisper's doing fine, right? He's 16 CS in this bottom lane. The Chaos Knight's doing well too. So the biggest discrepancy right now is in the mid lane, where Chris Luck is just getting handled by Fata. This is clearly Lina favored in the beginning. And then it comes down to, can Shadowfiend reach that level 5 and start raising creeps and getting some jungle farm in between?
Do you think he's getting bodied harder than he should be in this matchup? Or is this about right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's losing it a bit harder than he should be. Oh,
Well,
he's going
Chris
for a
Luck
risky
is actually
play.
going to try and fight off Fata here, but the Dragon Slay plus the auto attack is going to be too much. It's going to get first blood. Of course, Fata's going to die in return with the rotation of Jericho. Fortunately, Chris Luck's decision came just a little bit too early. And the support was not able to bail him out of that man fight. So Lina will continue to stay ahead in this lane. But Whisper's lane continues to go very well. They even brought the courier down here so he didn't have to run back to the secret shop for his Ring of Health.
Oh, Peter's going to kill him,
Unfortunately for him, because of the Harpy pickup, such a value. Oh, and look at that. From the high ground, Soxa actually cutting off Whisper. That could be the kill, as one more round of lightning is enough to get the...
This creep is so obnoxious, man. It actually makes a really big difference to Chen in its current state with the Holy Persuasion not being able to take every creep, that you get a creep like this early on. This is the dream creep, I think, for this lane because it has so much magic damage output over time against the Axe cutting the wave. So very nice for Peter to find that one. Should be mentioned, though, with what happened in mid, Grimstroke's game starts looking really good. He got 3.5. He got the gold as well for the Lina kill. So Jericho will probably be able to reach that level 6 relatively quickly, and that's very good news for both Chaos Knight and Warlock. Warlock's level 1, however. And Nyx just barely cracked 2. So each team has some low-level supports as well.
Stinger has just been giving K1 all the experience.
Yeah.
He's been healing wording him, but mostly been staying out of that creep wave, and CK has actually gotten almost every bit of CS, sitting at 30-0. Even over the Nagasar mid lane, the silence is going to wear off, but it's enough for them to be able to get the very critical kill. Jericho smoked up for that one too in order to wrap around behind the Lina, showing how important it was to be able to win Chris Luck back his lane.
Yeah, he's in a much better position now than he was before. He's still behind, even though he got that kill, but reaching this level 5.
Are they going to set up for maybe some sort of Lina pull-in play, or are they just going to try and fight with the 3-man into K1? K1 being level 5. This makes it pretty tough. He's going to have to try and juke the Impale here. Stinger is eventually hit by it, though. They will be able to pick up that support, secure the bounty runes over there as well. And Ace actually got one of the bounties at bottom, too.
So 3-for-1 rune and a kill. That's very nice from NIP here in this instance. Oh, Fata went for the Laguna. That was actually not even close to killing Chris Luck. A bit surprising. He tried that one. He's going to salve up, receive a Shadow Word from the Warlock, and get back to pushing out mid.
Maybe partly because Fata has a regen rune, so he's like, if I can force the SF out and stuff, get it back up to my full mana, especially as he uses that regen to continue to Dragon Slave.
It's not the longest cooldown ever, Laguna, so I could see it. He's now, I love what he's doing right now. He keeps spamming his spells to keep the regen going and tanking the tower for his siege creep. This is really good stuff coming out from Fata here. Now he will have to yield and lose the siege creep, but actually
he still has a glyph. The counter glyph, though, to make sure that Fata can actually finish off that wave and push it into the tower again to protect the siege wagon. Has to get rid of that healing cell from Fata as he's desperately trying to save his siege wagon. A couple of shots to finish off, but it won't be able to do it. The tower will be protected. Inkswell immediately getting the stun. Jericho not going to get anything there. And with his boots first, trying to get away the pull-in on Asaxa, but he's fast enough to skitter out. They do have a really good Fatal Bonds here, but 33 is super tanky. Meanwhile, Fata again chasing away Chris Luck as Jericho can no longer help out that mid lane because the pressure is really coming in at this top.
And we've seen every game Anvorgesa have had this Chaos Knight. He goes really fast Midas, and he plays from ahead in every game. And I think it's a really key part of their strategy when they have this hero to make sure that he is the primary hero they play around. They want to give him the best possible game. And the Midas is coming in now at 6:45, so this is really, really good timing. We'll now be able to start Midasing some Iron Shell creeps if he wants, or just it's a feel-good item on Chaos Knight because this hero is not very good at farming so fast. It just doesn't have the tools that other carries do to clear creep waves, so at least with Midas you can stay relevant on both experience and gold. It's more or less a staple at this point to buy on him.
He honestly would be like our incredibly powerful carry if he just had a good farming mechanism, right?
Yeah.
Because his Phantasm, he actually goes in a late game really well. Looks like they may be able to cut off Jericho. Running into him with both the Chen and the Nyx Assassin. Fata will collect the kill from his 2 supports.
I think across the tournament so far, this is probably the highest impact I've seen from a Chen minute 7. I like what Peter's done. He's secured his Naga's lane. He pressured the Axe. He got a kill. Now he's moving and invading the enemy jungle and pressuring them and stealing their stack too. So very good stuff here coming out from Peter and showcasing what Chen always can do, right? This is, regardless of these nerfs, you can always get a creep in the start and make moves and play aggressive like this around the map. It's just about, can you set up the correct opportunities, and that's where the experience with the hero comes into play.
The pressure on K1. He's beginning to miss some of the CS. Naga Siren's taking over now in that category. And then on top of that, SF, between his stack being stolen, his mid lane being lost, doesn't have much. It's mostly just Whisper, who's being able to still get everything he wants if they can actually kill Ace. It would be fantastic, managing the call before this Naga Siren, but he's so damn tanky, they just don't have the magic damage to make sure that Ace falls. He gets off the song, will retreat, has a shrine up. I believe 33 is going to drop the wall of Discord onto 2 here, throws the Ion Shell onto the Chaos Knight illusion that sticks on top of Stinger. They go from trying to kill 33 to immediately losing their support, and K1's going to be forced to TP away. Soxa does not have an impale. They couldn't stop it.
Like that from Ace as well, skilling the song. I see a lot of Nagas just go 4-0-4 for the maximum farm efficiency, but if you can stay alive once, that song point definitely pays for the little bit of less riptide that you have. So, looking great for an IP so far. The laning stage has gone well, and now they managed to take a top tower here with this aggressive move with the wall illusion, plus Chen again coming in and contributing.
And a big difference between what Chaos Knight and Naga Siren can do is safe lane carries. You pressure the CK, he's got to get out, but this Naga Siren, she was able to cut the wave. Peter's definitely in trouble as he's going to get Fatal bonded to his creeps as well, so that AoE damage from Chris Luck bursts him down, gets the creeps, 5-3. Slight lead for Ninjas of Pyjamas as the 10-minute bounty runes are coming up.
Yeah, the question is how big this lead really is. They have a bit of tower gold, so if the bottom tower ends up falling for Anvorgesa, it's more or less even overall. And you do want to see this kind of lead being built by the Chen. So I think it's expected so far, what is happening from NIP. Expected. Oh, top lane, another Laguna.
Another Dragon Slave in 1 second. Is it long enough? Range? Ooh, right on his tiny little horsey hail.
Tickled his butthole, but didn't deal any damage, so we're good. Okay, let's make the move into work mid.
It's too early in the cast to bring up Rich already. Jesus, Synderen. Mid lane, Naga Siren's been pressuring the mid tower after being evacuated from the safe lane. Is now going to be silenced up. Quickly takes away from that. Chris Luck is going to be stunned up by the Centaur. Now, Body gets on top of me. He doesn't have the Laguna play just yet, but just a few right clicks, and the Centaur staying in front of Chris Luck. Great body blocking, enough for the second LSA to come through.
This is what you want to see from Chen. When I see this kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, if you play like this, I can dig it. This is great. Peter, the Centaur creep in the perfect position at the perfect time. He saved the Naga, found a kill, set up. Fasa gets TP'd in and gets the spell combo off on the Shadow Fiend. So excellently done. That one Centaur creep, big place. And they're going to take the tower too, so very, very nice.
Yeah. This is the second Siege Wagon that comes out. And that's something I don't think we really talked about, probably referenced it a little bit, was the fact that Chen was really hurt by the Siege Wagon change.
Yeah.
Normally he would take the opposing Siege Wagon, they would double siege push into a tower, and it was so hard to stop it. But you could see Peter Pandam is still playing around the Siege Wagons. Even if he can't actually steal them, he's timing all of his rotations with the spawn and the push of the Siege Creep.
Yep. He's got himself a new friend, new Centaur again. So see if he can set up another play like the previous one. And quietly, while all of this is happening, Sox is getting really good levels on the Nyx Assassin. He's level 7.5 right now, minute 11. Just playing this bottom lane area. Fata is on the hunt for Axe. Doesn't look like that will bring anything with it. But
one of the things I just don't like about Axe is that he has a very small window where he's effective, but he's also very late to come online, right? He's at total free farm, but you need to go Vanguard to make sure that you don't just initiate and die over and over again. He gets upgraded boots and phase boots. Maybe that's necessary, maybe it isn't, but he still needs his Blink Dagger before he can finally go, hey guys, remember that laning phase that I had such a free time with? Well, here's the result.
Yeah, there are some games on Axe where you can bypass Vanguard and rush Blink Blade Mail. I don't know if this was one of them. Maybe he could have actually avoided or skipped the Vanguard just because of the relatively little pressure he was under. But the big upside is that you can do this.
The Warrior is going to be able to find the Chaos Knight. They just throw every bit of spells they have. The gold's going to drop. with the double fatal bonds potentially as they get the soulbind out, but they've been vacuumed back, LSA'd up. Finally, they get the fatal bonds off, but that's what the Song of Siren is for. And now they're going to reset. Seeing all this, they're going to try and quickly execute the Warlock with the LSA. Whisper's trying to run at Heroes right now, but gets hit by a good impale out from Saksa. Now ensnared up as well. Fada's got a second LSA that he's going to be able to land. Whisper is super tanky, yes, but he's not getting a whole lot done. Violent Silence comes out from the Grimstroke, but he's going to be dying here. Saksa gets a really good hit in with the Spike Carapace as well, returning the damage, and the Axe just got totally kited around. Free farm for 12 minutes. His first rotation comes out, and they lose the fight terribly.
Yeah, NIP are outplaying them really, really hard right now. This is some of the highest level of games we've seen here so far. I think NIP's individual game here has been great. Everybody has been doing their job. This aggressive move, getting on top of the Chaos Knight and bursting him before the Golem comes down, and then being able to song away this double Fatal Bonds is really, really useful. And this is going to be the recipe that they're going to be playing with. This Song of the Siren is going to save them from this ridiculous combo that Anvorgesa have been playing a lot of this tournament. And you're just seeing it there. It's really, really good stuff out of NIP. They're going to keep farming, going to keep pushing out lanes. They have not lost a tower. They're not even close, as a matter of fact. The bottom tower has a third of its HP left, and Darkseer's already on the job. So, yeah, impressive. Very good. And you got to wonder now for Anvorgesa, you picked this Axe, right? Like, let's talk Axe a little bit more. If you pick Axe and you go this Vanguard, he did farm a double stack of Ancients off camera, which is a nice thing you can do, right, when you have this Vanguard, but you're delaying your timing. Who is making the moves? If Chaos Knight gets jumped, what's your play? This guy was supposed to be the playmaking pick that they last picked off lane. Something I mentioned to you that could have been an interesting choice in this game would be Clockwork, that we barely ever see played right now, but the reason I liked it was that they could play Clock SF, so they could give Chris Luck a much better mid lane, and the Clockwork could have, at least the Clock SF thing has not been removed, right? As far as I'm aware, you can still farm the cogs.
Yeah, yes, you can.
So he could set up for these ganks way easier and with way less farm than this Axe needs right now. Chris Luck's in trouble.
Chris Luck is
dead.
In a whole lot of trouble. He didn't even fall into the trap where Saksa was trying to coax him into using the second raise on the creeps and get the Spike Carapace return. Didn't even need it because Chris Luck has had such a rough game that he's squishy enough to die to this burst damage without a Spike Carapace turnaround.
Oh, he went drum too. Oh, I don't know. It was confident enough in the first place to first pick or third pick Shadow Fiend, first second phase pick, right? When you don't even know what you're facing, but if you get countered like this, it's clear it's one of his favorite heroes. He is very high level on it in Dota Plus, so.
Pulling back in, K1's trying to make some plays right now, but between the wall and, well, maybe Sox is still going to die. They're going to commit more with the Phantasm, make sure that they can't actually be fought. The Blink Dagger, they managed to get the Lina. That's a more important kill if they can stay on top of him. Soxa, though, is creating so many problems for K1. They needed to be able to follow up on Fada, but now the Golem's going to get dropped, but the Grimstroke's already dead. Hasn't actually gotten the Soulbind. Finally does manage to get it onto the Lina. Whisper's going to try and chase down 33. Does manage to get the call onto him. K1's going to join him for this one. It's Chris Luck and Stinger are going to be able to, thanks to their superior team fight with the Golem, come in, clean up Ninjas the Pyjamas, take 3, a 1-for-3 exchange.
Immediate payoff of Dagger. This has been what they've been missing the whole time. They've been missing a way of getting into fights that doesn't involve Chaos Knight just killing himself to get something done. So, big reveal here from Whisper. Looks like he is building for the Blade Mail as well.
Yeah.
Lina has decent attack speed. She can hurt herself quite a lot.
I think the Lina and the Ion Shell of Darkseer is probably the best bet.
Ion's great too, absolutely.
Blade Mail, I'm not sure how much it'll do versus Naga, but it'll certainly be okay.
It's all right. Everything adds up. When, especially if you call Naga and multiple illusions and there's so much Riptide going out, you can, even if you don't necessarily kill the Naga, if you get rid of all of the illusions, you limit her damage output in the fight by a lot.
Right.
Especially if you get Fatal Bonds on all of those illusions too, it goes real fast.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot of damage.
I like that K1 has not been as farmy as we've seen in the past. When he goes the Hannah Midas, he says, all right, I'm going to get like 2 more items before I come online. Probably because of, you know, as you were saying with Whisper, not having the Blink Dagger earlier, somebody needed to make plays, and K1's taking upon himself to try and do that for Anvorgesa. Wants to build into a second item BKB after the Sange, but they don't know that Roshan is currently going down. They do have a successful scan. Can they make it over in there in time? Highly unlikely, and Ace still has that fallback measure of the Song of Siren, so it's going to be an Aegis for Fada.
It's one of the
They might still be able to catch K1 too. They have the Wall of Replica out. A nice stroke of fate with the double Soulbind as well. 2-man silence. Chris Luck's going to try and let go of the ultimate, but doesn't get it off in time. The Song of Siren is in place, and Nip doesn't seem like they're super keen on getting top of these heroes. They're going to try and go for the kill on Chris Luck with the LSA miss. Now, he's going to try and get off the ultimate and lets it rip right on top of Ace. The Laguna Blade, the double explosion actually does so much damage to Nip. They're going to be able to run down Aces. He did not have the Aegis. That was Lena, who's already died, come back and couldn't save the Naga Siren. So somehow, Fada missing the LSA off of the Song of Siren turns into disaster for Nip.
That's just bad miscommunication right there. He thought the song was going to end earlier, that Ace was going to cancel it manually so he could land the LSA, but must have been something missed on the comms there. If he just waits and lets the song end, even if the stun isn't pitch perfect, it isn't even required, right? The Shadow Fiend will not be able to dodge it regardless. There was nobody ready to counterplay, I do believe, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's costly. He ends up getting that amazing Requiem off, like you said, and that comboing with Fatal Bonds, it hurts. It hurts big time.
Especially as, like, the SF dying immediately afterwards, just, yeah, it actually looked kind of good. You know, you're just like, screw it. We got Fatal Bonds out, double explosion, that works.
Yep. And now suddenly Chaos Knight's top net worth.
Yeah.
That's all it took, one fight.
And that's our primary carry, right? Like, Chaos Knight is going to be the one carrying us into late game, so his farm matters more than the SFs.
Axe got a Blade Mail. Shadow Fiend is close to... Oh, never mind. He's close to nothing. He could have been close to BKB, but then he got destroyed in lane for a while.
Yeah.
Warlock, is that a full Glimmer, or does he only have the... Okay, he only has the Amulet so far. Glimmer Cape is such a nice item. It just feels good to get on Warlock. You can use it while you're channeling Upheaval. The build-up for it is convenient for you because there's nothing smaller that you really want. Like some other supports will maybe go like 2 braces or whatever, but your job is to stand so far behind the fight that you're not even taking damage.
Yeah.
So it's just a nice little build-up. And
Bits of
massively
Invis.
impactful item against Lina and Nyx. So.
Yeah, certainly. Bits of Invis have just been kind of buffed up with... Sentries may have gone cheaper, but there's now a limited number you can get. Dust has always been super expensive. People don't like grabbing that item because it's so expensive. 4-man smoke up for Anvorgesa as they're going to show off the SF at top lane while the rest of the team cuts through into mid. And if they don't find anybody there, they can cut into top and invade the jungle as well.
Did anybody see that Midas being used?
I don't know, but... I'm sure you would have loved to have the Hand of Midas on that Helmet Dominator creep. They are going to be able to get on top of Peter Pan Dam first. 3-second stun. Nip at this point should just leave him behind. A 5-position dying for this smoke gank is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, nice positioning from Peter there. I think they had a feeling that the smoke might be coming, and this way they mitigate the losses. The alternative is to all leave the area, but then you lose a bit more map control, and you don't necessarily know what's coming next if you just let them freely invade that without breaking the smoke. So.
Oh, sorry, I said Helmet Dominator creep, but 33 did not build one this game. He went straight for the Crimson Guard.
Yep.
That was just one of Chen's creeps. Do you feel like you shouldn't go Helmet Dominator when there's a Hand of Midas hero?
It depends. I think it's also a bit down to player preference. Some players love this Dom and use it very effectively. It's obviously been nerfed, and you're playing against a Midas hero, and you look at the timing of this game, and perhaps it's a bit too slow to go for the Dom first, and you just want to get this Crimson as fast as possible. I can definitely get behind this item against Chaos Knight. So
yeah,
I think it's completely fine.
Both sides can get behind the Crimson Guard, right? Because you're both facing up against an illusion carry.
Yeah. It could be a good item for Axe. It doesn't look like he's planning to upgrade his Vanguard, though. A little bit surprising. I still think that's pretty good value. But he wants to go for the BKB straight away, or for a Lotus Orb, it looks like. Maybe to help against Ensnare. And, well, if you're clutch, Reflect Laguna, but it's a bit of a tall order a lot of the time. Do want to mention, though, something that happened like 4 minutes ago by now. One of the weaknesses of Anvorgesa's lineup, of course, is that when this Warlock combo is on cooldown and you're playing against a lineup that's good at taking objectives like Roshan, NIP are very experienced in this, and the reason they took this Rosh was they just had a fight, whether they won or lost it. They know that without these key cooldowns of Anvorgesa, they can go for a play, and that was the best play on the map at the time, so some of that good game understanding coming out from NIP. Now the question is what they do next, because they kind of didn't use the Aegis very well.
Yeah.
So they have to wait for a while now.
And part of that, if that is a weakness that Anvorgesa is going to, or excuse me, Nip is going to exploit, that means Anvorgesa's got to make sure to use their big cooldowns in successful team fights that takes map control, right? Maybe that's why Nip has been playing so much on Anvorgesa's side of the
You just asked me a question. You asked me a question and I nodded.
I know it's been a while since you casted Synderen, but the camera, they can't see you right now.
Oh, man. We're not streaming right now. People can't see us. You're right, Cap. Very good.
Thank you for the audible reply.
All right, looks like this tower is going to fall, by the way. Shadowfiend with the BKB. NIP kind of want to, but at the same time, they can't really defend that. They're pushing as much top as they can.
They stopped
they cancel the
TP away, and Whisper also stops his TP because he doesn't want to leave Chris Luck behind. It's giving a lot of pushing time up at the top lane. The tier 3 is taking tons of damage between the Naga Siren Illusions and the Chen creeps. They got to send somebody back there, but 2 cores have canceled their TPs. Peter's actually going to get a tier 3 for 3 out of this because NIP just keep on assaulting Anvorgesas, not letting them get away. Now they're going to drop the golem. They need to be able to make a good fight out of this one, but Ace still has a Song of Siren and knows that he's winning this fight. He's already killed the Warlock. Whisper's about to die. Half of Anvorgesa TP'd up to top lane finally. NIP played that just beautifully.
That was a flat-out macro outplay.
Yeah.
They used the map, again, very, very well. Chen plus Naga Illusions. You got to be careful when you're playing against this kind of lineup that you try to keep all waves pushed at least decently. You can't let Chen sit up here for half a minute and push it all the way to the base before you start reacting. That needs to be handled previously so that you don't get caught in these positions where you can get cornered. And great TP cancels and everything there from NIP. Good stuff. They're going to get a tower as their reward, it looks like, on bottom. And now that the golem was dropped as well, perhaps they could even think about a tier 2 if they would fancy that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just push the pace. They do still have Phantasm, so maybe they'll be a little bit skittish fighting around that. Do you think Naga Siren beats this lineup late game? I mean, that's kind of how we set this up, right? I just wanted to make sure.
It's always hard to say, and there's a lot of variables in this late game because the Dire lineup actually has multiple really good scaling cores, right? So it's like, if you just talk about late game in isolation, what are we talking? Are we talking like 40 minutes where Naga has total free farm until the end of the game from now, or? Because I think when she's 6-slotted, she should win. But if she doesn't win for like 10 or 15 minutes,
yeah, we start getting into where like support, like everyone starts getting 6-slotted, supports come into play. You've got incredibly good scaling supports on Anvorgesa, right? The Grimstroke double Fatal Bonds is just kind of crazy. So Anvorgesa, like no matter how late it gets, they always could execute teamfight wins.
They can win a teamfight the whole game.
So just because they're down 4,000 net worth right now does not mean that things are just going to get grimmer and grimmer. I think Blitz was talking about, you always need to be able to always have the opportunity to win a fight. That's what this Grimstroke Warlock gives you at any point in the game. No matter how strong the enemy is, you can do it.
And we should keep in mind, if we do talk late game, when it comes to Grimstroke nowadays, I always look for, is there a good target for Dark Portrait?
They can give away 4 bounty runes just like that?
Oh, wow. They are. They're just too late for everything. Indecisive. Yeah, that ain't good.
Yeah.
So what I was saying with Grimstroke, I look for, is Dark Portrait good? Because I think it's one of the strongest Aghanim Scepters that have been added in the most recent patch, and creating an illusion of Naga Siren is really strong, actually. So this speaks a little bit more in their favor in the later game as well, if he wants to go that route. Looks like for now he's queuing up the dagger. Okay, changed his mind and went for an... Oh, he sold it again. Okay. Changed his mind twice in 2 seconds. That's pretty good APM.
I mean, they do kind of need a Spirit Vessel, right?
I don't know, it feels a bit late.
Yeah, maybe it is too late.
If you want to buy a Vessel in this game, I don't know. I think there's more impactful items on the Grim.
I mean, especially since the initiation is everything. I can see how the Blink Dagger and getting the right soul bind is so important. K1 trying to go for these Chen creeps, but there is kind of a setup from Fada and Saksa.
NIP thought his team was there. If they could see the minimap, the whole map, they would just have killed him straight up.
Yeah.
There was actually no support nearby. That was pretty... He's just... It is a mind game right now. Now Axe is here, so protection is available. That was a kind of dangerous move, honestly. He wasn't accounting for the fact that the Nyx could be there, I think. Or he just, you know, was being intimidating.
Getting into the back line. Only Naga Siren Illusions over here. Just cutting creep waves. They're doing it mid. He's farming up the triangle right now. This is how you take over the map as a Naga Siren and choke out the enemy team.
Gonna get rid of a couple of Chen creeps here, it looks like. Actually only got 1.
Meanwhile, Fada's doing the same thing he did at 5 minutes. Tank for the creep wave. Tank for the siege wagon. Finish off that tier 2.
NIP have so good map control right now. Chen is pushing 1 lane, Naga's pushing another lane, and Lina's pushing the 3rd lane. And now they're going to find the opening top.
With the Chen, Fada shows up. Thanks to the Chen, they're going to pop the BKB Phantasm. Try and go for the kill onto Saksa. It's a heavy commitment. Will be able to kill the Nyx Assassin. It's still a valuable cooldown. use just for a 4 position.
This time the Chen army died. But with the map control, actually did it? What did he lose? Oh, he lost 2 creeps out of 4.
Yeah.
With the kind of map control that NIP have, in some games you see Chen losing his army being a really big problem. Like if you're start from map control and then your creeps die, your hero is so much weaker, but he has free access to finding new creeps, so it's not that big of a deal. Whisper has free access to getting killed.
Pops the blade mail, trying to deter Fada. Now, Fada doesn't have Laguna Blade, so they may run out of damage eventually, but fortunately 33 is here. He's trying to just tank up because the rest of his team is on its way. They do have the double supports, but now the core is dead. They're going to be able to get the double soulbind onto Fada. If they can actually kill the lean, it'd be fantastic, but Stinger drops the golem now, tries to go for the double fatal bond, gets it off the last second, but there's no follow-up, especially if they just stay ahead of this golem. The upheaval is too far away to be able to catch the Lina, and look at him. He's slowly burning out. Doesn't actually have the full Glimmer Cape, only the amulet, and 33 will eventually kill him. The Healing Ward is actually slightly outdoing the Ion Shell, but eventually that's going to fade away.
Let's just watch that. That was great. Can I get a replay of that?
Happy little moment.
There was something mesmerizing about that. Like the equilibrium between the heal and the damage, and eventually you just know he's going to fucking die. All right, well, NIP just continuing to show great form in this game. I'm so far overall, apart from the one mistake.
Dustin did listen to you.
Excellent. Apart from the one mistake they made mid lane with the Aegis, I can't really put much of a finger on their play this game. I think this has been one of the single best executions out of any team at this minor so far. So looking very, very good in this. And let's not forget, they're beating Anvorgesa's best strategy too.
Yeah.
So if you beat this in game 1, what is the adaptation going to be? And as it looks right now, it looks overwhelmingly likely that NIP will be able to take this game in the end. What?
Yeah, our panel said that it looked like this kind of lineup from Anvorgesa was going to be their best chance to bring down Ninjas to Pyjamas. Oh. And it definitely has not worked out so far, but who knows? Maybe Synderen jinxed him.
He's going Radiance on Chaos Knight.
Well, I guess you got to get some sort of damage over time.
For the Naga Siren?
For the Naga. I mean, you just can't burst her down. It's too late for that.
You still have some things. You have the Stroke of Fate. If the Fatal Bonds connect in the Naga Illusions, they should die. Shadow Fiend has a lot of AoE damage. I'm guessing he will take the Shadow Raise damage on level 20. At least I think he should. And of course, we've mentioned the Axe Call Blade Mail. So it's manageable, but it's absolutely going to be hard. Let's see if he takes this talent. He did. Okay, he's got the raises.
We could still get to the point where
getting more stuff is definitely useful.
If they get level 25 on SF and get Scythe, especially since they have Soulbind. True. That would be another late game peak for Anvorgesa.
They definitely have the possibility of winning this later on.
Yeah,
the timer is not the concern here.
Really great play by 33 with the vacuum.
Yeah, he is very dead on Grim. What was I gonna say? Yeah, this Chaos Knight Radiance. Oh, hang on. We've got a little bit of a move in mid. Another pick. It's just the map control here. Just running them over. The downside to this Chaos Knight Radiance in this game is that you're playing against Nyx. So if you have it running, you're actually setting yourself up for a bit of a trap. You can get caught carapacing into that.
And Ninjas in Pyjamas push to the high ground. Radiance is online. They throw some damage onto Whisper, make sure he can't blink in and get us a good initiation. Pulling the real Naga Siren, managed to get a 3 seconds done. That's a great setup already. He does, of course, have the Aegis, so they can't overcommit. A nice vacuum pullback. That's going to be able to grab the Chaos Knight. He's fighting his own illusions as well as the Naga Siren illusions to bring him down. Another reason why the Radiance probably doesn't help you. Blade Mail going out from Whisper, but he has just been impotent for most of this game, and Ninjas in Pyjamas will make sure he remains so as he's forced away Spirit Vessel. Doesn't quite finish him off, but it's enough for the space, or maybe not. They get the Soulbind onto Fauna. Song of Siren going out. The BKB from the SF would allow him to walk away, but didn't allow him to get in there and kill anybody from Ninjas in Pyjamas. So another cooldown wasted. Anvorgesa still have 40 seconds with the Chaos Knight gone. Whisper's going to try and come in through the back line. Peter spots him. He fearlessly just kind of runs into Whisper. Anything to stop him from being able to get an initiation that sets up the SF.
I just realized Peter's higher level than his Naga Siren. That's a pretty rare sight. The Chen's almost level 20.
Damn. Well, that's that 30 experience gain talent for you.
Yeah, he's been reading a lot of books too. Very educated. And still he's riding on a wolf. Well,
that's max APM there, controlling your hero all your neutral creeps, reading a book, captaining your team, telling them where to go.
All right, that was the nail in the coffin here, I think. That push right there. 2 lanes of racks. Chaos Knight died without buyback, of course, like you mentioned. And the downside of going this Radiance build is you're just not as tanky, right? Like, you're missing that heart to survive that kind of onslaught that they bring. He's going to stun the Naga and hit her twice and be like, oh, well, okay, I guess not. Full butterfly completed. Ace is so thick right now. Look at it. Just go into, what's it called? The mode that you use where you click the dude over the portrait of the hero. Why can't I remember what that's called?
What?
You know, where you click, like you go to, if you go to Naga Siren and you mouse over, what's it called? The perspective where you zoom in on the hero, kind of?
Yeah, showcase view. Thank
Showcase
you.
view, there you go. Yes.
She got that big old booty.
Absolutely. All right, it's time to go. Looks like NIP wants to use their Aegis. They have about 1 minute left on it, so the question is how to, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Anvorgesa have to land a big AoE wombo combo or they're going to lose the game. But the problem is NIP just won't set them up for that possibility. They're just letting Naga go in front, maybe a Chen creep here or there, poke the tower slowly and steadily, and eventually Anvorgesa are going to get impatient and go on them, and then they even have the Song of the Siren against the wombo combo again, right? So
yeah,
this double fatal bonds is not.
It's even harder to set this up when the illusions just kind of run at your heroes. You fight them, they're burning your mana. Sometimes they find the heroes that are trying to make the initiation, like Whisper and Stinger here on the side, who's going to lead off with an upheaval. This will be a way to try and force Ninjas in Pyjamas into a more awkward position, but Fada, thanks to Ether Lens, had long enough range to catch Stinger without going into the high ground and risking the Whisper call. And a Eul Scepter immediately onto Whisper as he starts getting a little bit too close for comfort. Fada denies him that, managed to get the Soulbind and Silence onto 2, but the rest of Anvorgesa is so far away that that's going to be wasted Soulbind. And bye-bye Warlock. There's going to be no Golem for this next fight. Now the Wall of Replica managed to get an illusion of K1. They hit him with the LSA as well. Whisper's going to dive straight in for Fada with the Blade Mill's doing a lot of damage, but there's going to be the sustainable 33 and the Chen heal that goes out. And Anvorgesa, they're just going to end it here. Not even going out in a big fight with the Whimper, not a bang that they're going to leave this game 1.
And this was just, it felt like class difference, this game, honestly. They got really outplayed. Easily the best Chen game of the tournament so far. Peter really showcasing what the hero still got. Slowly winning me over here. I mean, I'm still going to stand by what I've said before, that I think the hero is nerfed really hard and isn't an overall first pick, but that's also not what they did. They picked it third after they got their other heroes, and they saw some information that made it a good Chen game. And NIP are looking good. This definitely gives me the confidence that they could be one of the 2 finalists that we see at this event. Just these kind of single games, when you see this, it's a different level to what we've seen from most other teams so far, just this one performance.
Would you say, though, Cinderin, like the last pick, Naga Siren, like beautifully countered everything, right? He does well against the Chaos Knight. It hard counters that Axe and everything he wants to do in lane. The reset against the Golem Grimstroke, it seemed like the perfect last pick.
Yeah.
Would you say there was a draft advantage for Nip?
I think that was an amazing pick. Overall, yeah, probably because of that and because of how well they used the Chen. It's a harder to execute lineup than the Dire, but if you do everything right, I do think it's the better lineup overall. So NIP not afraid of putting themselves under a bit of pressure to execute because they know how to do it.
Yeah, and as you said, like this is probably the best strategy of Anvorgesa. That means Peter, who is well known for his preparation when it comes to the drafting, plans out a strategy that works against this. Even though it's the best strategy for Anvorgesa, maybe they're better off going into game 2 with something that's not their best, but also unexpected for Nip to be able to deal with, giving their a better draft opportunity. We'll see what happens, though, as we head into game 2. Short break first, and we'll come back with the rest of the series.
Observing is something where I felt like I would actually push the whole craft forwards. I could give people something that they would enjoy.